So, Sam, I'll go ahead and start with you. I'm going to upload the scorecards now. And I see that you had it 117, 111, while for Morales, while I had it 115, 113, also for Morales. So go ahead. Before we break down each round, what is your memory of this fight?
I remember I had missed the fight initially when it first came live, right? I was
Yeah.
working, and I remember somebody asking me, "How do you have this fight going?"
Mm.
I said, "If it goes beyond 6 rounds, I'll never forget it." I said, "If it goes beyond 6 rounds, it's gonna be Morales' fight."
Ooh,
You know what I'm
really,
saying?
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And sure enough, man, it panned out.
I agree with you. I mean, at this time, Morales kind of already established himself in that division, and
Hmm.
Manny Pacquiao was still, he wasn't. I don't want to say he wasn't unknown, but he was becoming established. I
Yeah.
mean, he had that draw with Agapito Sanchez. I remember that. That was kind of like his welcome to the western part of the world. But dude, this fight it was I remember watching it and I was like, both of these fighters are meant to fight each other. It's kind of
Yes.
like Morales and Barrera. It was, it, I kind of thought when Morales, I know you and I have an early history with Barrera and Morales, and I was thinking, man, after watching this fight, there has to be a part two. And of course, with the Mexican cultures, especially back in the days, they always took rematches no matter what. So
Yeah.
my memory of the fight. You have anything else to say about
No, that it
history of
was, yeah, no, that it was like they said at the end of the fight, does this validate your position over Barrera? Well,
it? Mm,
because he had lost to Barrera. And
right.
he says, yes, yeah, this validates, my position in Mexico or, in boxing, period. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
right there.
we remember his bout with Marco Antonio Barrera before that, before his fight with Eric Morales, and Manny Pacquiao. He wasn't the Manny Pacquiao that we all grew and loved. So, or maybe even hated. Who knows? Depending on who you talk to. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and break this down. I see that you and I had the same first round for Manny Pacquiao, and then you go a straight 7 rounds off for Morales, while I scored the third round and the eighth round for Pacquiao. So, what did you see in that big old onslaught from the second round all the way down to number 8? Hey guys, Trey here. If you love today's controversial episode and you want to see our channel grow, please drop a like, subscribe, and also comment. Sam and I are always going back and forth with those commenters on our controversial topics and opinions, and we love it so much. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, most importantly, so our channel can grow and we can give you guys the best content as possible. Sam and I were always uploading multiple videos a week, and we want to continue doing that, and we need your help. So go ahead and subscribe, guys. And most importantly, like I always say, don't forget to stick and move, baby.
Look, I think that Manny Pacquiao underestimated Morales' chin. He wanted the knockout, and I do believe, and I got it. I'll probably get some hate for it, but this is my opinion. I do believe that the gloves had a huge decision into this fight.
Yeah, yeah,
Because Manny wanted the boxer, the Cleto Reyes gloves, which is the puncher's gloves, and Morales wanted the Asian gloves, were more of a boxing glove.
right,
And I agree with Manny Pacquiao. Things changed after the cut. After he got
right,
cut,
right.
things they completely changed. And
And by the way, not to cut you off, Manny Pacquiao, I mean, he leaned in on that headbutt. That was, to my opinion, the what opened him up. I know, headbutts happen, But I think Manny Pacquiao, you know, with that aggressive head movement that he has, I think he leaned in a little too much and the floodgates open. At least that's my opinion on that.
No, no, you're 100%. But you know, the cut was really bad.
Yeah.
It was, you know, you're asking me, you know, how I feel about how the things went. Is I think the cut had a huge thing to do. Of course, it's boxing; things happen like that. But man, that was a really bad cut. But I think the gloves had a lot to do with it too, you know. And
Yeah.
but I think that Manny Pacquiao underestimated Morales' chin.
I don't, you know, normally we don't skip rounds. We do little chunks, but I'm going to go to that 12th round because you brought up the gloves. If he would have had the Gleto Reyes gloves, I think he would have knocked down Morales in that 12th round. And we're talking about a totally different fight.
I believe in Morales. I believe that if Manny Pacquiao had the gloves he wanted, he would have knocked out Morales in the third round.
Well, I mean, look at the history. They would fight two more times, and there was a TKO and then the KO for Manny Pacquiao. So maybe there is that. Maybe that grievance is worth it
Yeah.
at least to acknowledge it. Most people will say, "Nah, that's an excuse." But if you ever put on a pair of boxing gloves, like I was never a fan of Everlast boxing gloves. To me, that was more of a boxing style punching glove, but you do feel the difference between a Cleto Reyes and an Everlast. I could totally see why that would be a distraction. Of course, there's all this politics that were involved with it, but does that go to the genius of Morales, or is it a happy accident for Morales?
No, it was the genius of Morales. I
Mm,
mean that, you know, and Larry Merchant, and you heard him, and he was saying how the promoter of Manny Pacquiao was suckered into using Eric Morales's, you know, the gloves that Eric Morales wanted to use.
That had you been given the puncher's gloves that you normally wear, Reyes gloves, that you would have had a better chance to do damage.
I think if we're using our clitoris gloves, I think I knock him out. You know.
Why weren't you able to use your gloves? How did that happen that your promoter gave that edge away?
Under the camp of Morales, they request that gloves, and then you know, the Nevada Athletic Commission they want to use me winning gloves because Morales he want to use winning gloves.
But you could have used your gloves. There's no longer a rule that you have to use the same gloves as the opponent.
All right, yeah, that's right. But you know, we follow the decision of the Nevada the promoter. That's
he gave the gloves. You can use your gloves if you want, if it's not in the contract. But it was in the contract that we were winning gloves.
Was that a mistake to put that in the contract?
We were never asked.
actually I do not know. I do not know that, and you know.
All right.
And at the end, they did tell him, like, you know, you could have chosen your own gloves. You know what I mean. But but Pacquiao wanted to fight. Pacquiao felt, you know what, I can knock him out, and he realized that he needed those gloves.
It was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and not to discredit Morales. Morales fought a beautiful fight, man. You know, he fought a beautiful fight. But if you want to get to the nitty gritty of things, if those were Cleto Reyes gloves, the way Manny wanted them, Manny would have knocked him out early, in my opinion.
Wow. I agree with you. I mean, look, so let's go to the actual fight. So, like I said, you had Morales dominating pretty much, and I did too. I mean, I only had 2 rounds going to Pacquiao because I saw in the 3rd and 8th round where you had it for Morales, I saw Pacquiao a little bit more aggressive. And I saw Pacquiao going forward versus Morales. I think Morales was feeling those punches. Kind of reminded me of Marquez before that infamous knockout when he knocked out Pacquiao, where Pacquiao was close to knocking him down. If it would have gone another round or those 10 seconds the other way around, I think Pacquiao would have knocked out Marquez.
Oh, yeah, he was destroying him. Yeah.
And going to this, I think Morales felt the same kind of pressure. And I felt like in those 2 rounds, he realized, especially in the 3rd round, a little bit earlier, I think he realized, okay, this is a different kind of guy than Marco Antonio Barrera. So, this was a legacy builder. I mean, this is like what put Manny Pacquiao, at least in my opinion, on the map, because it was one of those fights where we saw as boxing fans, or even the novice, the boxing guy that's not really familiar with it, want to be like, I've never seen a boxer like Pacquiao.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I don't know, that's at least for me. And to go back to the boxing gloves real quick, when I rewatched it, it brought it back old memories. And for me personally, I don't know about you or our guys, our fans out there that are watching, that are always commenting on our YouTube channel. By the way, we appreciate you guys. I always look at the gloves they're wearing. I don't know if you do that too. And I've been doing that since back in the days. And I remember watching that fight, and it totally jogged my memory when I watched this fight last week. I was like, I don't know what brand that is. Like, it looked like a brand from Toys R Us or something that you would give your nephews to, spar around with the kids. So it was an interesting fight in perspective. Now let's go down the fight. I had Pacquiao winning 8-9-10, and then going into that last round, I mean, he just took over. So what did you see at that later half of the fight?
It got to a point where Pacquiao needed a knockout.
Right.
He knew he was losing that fight by points, and I thought he won. I thought that Morales won the last round. I thought Morales finished it. In my opinion, and Manny Pacquiao needed that knockout. He was throwing a lot of flurries, but he said to himself, I couldn't see out of my right eye. I couldn't.
Right.
I mean, the blood was pouring. So yeah, that was the rematch already set in stone. Morales took over. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this: that last round, the epic last round, we were expecting fireworks. Now, for the fans out there, and the people just watching for the first time that are not really into boxing, the casuals, I guess, right? What did you think when you saw Morales go southpaw in that last round?
Dude, did you see that? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, dude, he even tried to change back in the middle of the round. He was like, "Nope, too late."
Go ahead. I think he was like, let's go to war. Morales is a warrior, bro. Like, let's go to war. Yeah, Morales is a warrior, and he pretty much said, I got this fight. I don't think Manny can knock me out. Let's go to war. And they went to war. And yes, Manny landed some big shots, but I still had Morales winning that last round.
No, it was fantastic when I saw that, because I was watching him with my father, and he's a big boxing guy too. And throughout the whole entire fight, he kept on saying, Manny Pacquiao throws in bunches, but they're not really connecting. Like, he was seeing a lot of gloves, a lot of punches by Pacquiao hitting the other guy's glove, Morales' glove, of course. And to me, that's always like, that's working the body. That's working, that adds up. And at certain times, points are going to be filled in. That's how Pacquiao gets his acclaim, at least for me. But going into that last round, if he would have had the Cleto Reyes gloves with Morales switching to southpaw for some freaking reason,
that
would have been the end of the fight. I think that fight would have been over. The referee would have stopped it or something like that, because Morales was wilting over. But the ironic thing was, considering that Pacquiao caught him, Morales also, in my opinion, won that round because he ended the last minute and a half dominant.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was funny because you see him trying to go back to orthodox from southpaw, and he was like, nope. If I even spend a split second just trying to make the switch, then Pacquiao is going to catch me. He's too fast.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Any last thoughts on this fight before we move on? I mean, like in terms of legacy, what it meant for Pacquiao, what it meant for Morales.
What the legacy was cemented with the rematches when
Hmm.
he when Pacquiao got his rematches. But I mean, Morales' legacy was already cemented with that victory against
Yeah,
Manny Pacquiao. It is what it
yeah,
is. Morales won. I had a landslide almost,
yeah.
and
I know you did have it landslide 117, 115.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean for me it was just a complete landslide, and it showed how good Morales was, man. But it's boxing. Cuts happen. They agreed. They signed the contract with the gloves. Whatever
Right,
the issue
right.
may be, and they asked Manny Pacquiao, what's the difference between him and Barrera? And he said his styles. Styles make
Hmm.
fights, and that's
Hmm.
it.
It's so funny because I'll close on this. That fight kind of opened up the lightweight division. You
Yeah.
know, it opened it up. It was Barrera, Morales, Marquez was coming up. It was a great time for boxing. And here comes Pacquiao. We had no. I'll be honest with you. When I first saw him, I knew he was going to be a juggernaut. And you're going to laugh at the reason why I say why. I had never seen calves that big
Oh
on a
yeah.
boxer before, because most boxers are slender, they're runners, that kind of thing. And I have never, besides a heavyweight, I have never seen a guy with a freaking bowling ball as calves. And I was thinking, like, man, he is that quick and he must punch hard. They say the bigger the calves, the more harder you punch. So I was happy to see the arrival of Manny Pacquiao and the legend. So I know I said I was going to close on this. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. If Floyd met an early on Pacquiao, what do you think that fight would have looked like?
I think
Pretty
that
boy, pretty much pretty boy
yeah.
versus early
And
Pac.
look, there was a reason why Floyd avoided Pacquiao during that era. And I had text you during this fight. I text you this Manny Pacquiao, both Floyd and Manny 130, 130. Manny would have got him, bro. Manny
Yeah.
would have gave Floyd a lot of problems. I think Manny would have beat him. And Morales winning this fight I against Floyd, I believe that Floyd would have still beat Morales, but it would have been a 12-round hell coming from Eric Morales. You know what I'm
Um.
saying?
Dang. They were I think two classes apart, but they could have met in the middle for sure. Um. Dang. I got to be honest with you. That head movement by Pacquiao, man. At that time, see that early 2000s era, that was the very end of that old style boxing where it was all about head hunting. After that became more about boxing lessons or showing
Yeah.
your craft, that kind of thing. But that was the very end of it, man. That little era spurt. Even with De La Hoya and Trinidad, those guys, they were, Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins. It was very close to looking like back in the 80s or 70s where it was all head
Mhm.
hunting, all offense, and hardly any defense. But then
Yes.
the rules changed a little bit, becoming more defensive, became a little bit more safe, and boxing changed after that. So we'll go ahead and leave it at that. You have any final words for our viewers?
To keep, bringing in the comments, we're reading the comments, share, like, subscribe to our channel. And, we want to talk about all the fights, from past and, the present fights and even the future fights. And we appreciate every which one, every single body that's on there, on the comment section.
Yeah, definitely, guys. So Sam and I, we have plans to start going live, and we're going to do some episodes where we respond to some of your comments. So go ahead and subscribe. That way, you get the notification, and we'll read out your comments. Lastly, we're probably going to go live for the Canelo reaction fight.
Mm.
So I can't make any promises on that. We're working on that. We'll keep you guys updated. But as for now, guys, thank you guys for following us. Thank you guys for the comments. They've been amazing. Go ahead and pass on our channel to other people, like Sam said. And like I always say, just don't forget to stick and move, baby.
I am the greatest. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick